Microsoft is blocking more ways to set up a Windows 11 local account. When announcing Windows 11 Insider Preview builds 26120.6772, Microsoft revealed that they are removing known mechanisms for setting up an offline or local account.
March 2025. The average cost of a new Windows PC hits $1,247. That's up from $893 in 2020, a 40% increase in 5 years. But wages? Up only 18% in the same period. Computers are getting more expensive twice as fast as people's ability to pay for them. Microsoft sees an opportunity. If users can't afford computers, sell them something else. Cloud computing. Chromebook-style devices that cost $300 but require monthly subscriptions for storage, applications, and services. Internal Microsoft documents leaked to The Verge reveal the strategy. Project Cirrus. The goal? Transition 60% of Windows users to cloud-dependent devices by 2028. Devices with minimal local storage. Thin clients that run everything through Microsoft's cloud. The pitch sounds reasonable. Why pay $1,247 for a computer when you can pay $349 for a device plus $12.99 monthly for cloud services? Over 3 years, the cloud option costs $816. The traditional PC costs $1,247. You save $431. But that math hides something critical. After 3 years, the PC is yours. You own it. No ongoing costs. The cloud device? You're paying $12.99 monthly forever. Stop paying. It becomes a paperweight. Can't access your files. Can't run applications. Can't do anything. Year 4, the cloud device costs $156 more than the PC. Year 5, $312 more. Year 6, $468 more. By year 7, you've spent more on the cloud device than the PC cost originally, and you still don't own anything. Bill Gates isn't involved in Microsoft's operations anymore, but he's watching this strategy with growing alarm because he knows what it really is. It's not about affordability, it's about control. Microsoft locking users into permanent dependence, extracting rent forever. And according to 3 sources close to Gates, he's been arguing in board meetings that this strategy will destroy consumer trust permanently, that users will figure out they're being trapped, that the backlash will be catastrophic. Microsoft's executive team disagrees. They think users won't do the math, won't realize they're paying more long-term, will just see the low upfront price. They're betting billions that users can be manipulated into cloud dependence. And so far, it's working. The hardware prices spiraling out of control. Let's understand why PC prices are exploding. In 2020, you could buy a decent laptop for $650. Intel i5 processor, 8 GB RAM, 256 GB storage, 1080p screen, enough for web browsing, documents, and light media work. That same specification in 2025, $879, a 35% increase. But spec-for-spec comparisons understate the problem because minimum viable specifications increased. Windows 11 requires TPM 2.0. That adds cost. Requires more RAM to run smoothly. 8 GB struggles. Really needs 16 GB. That adds cost. OEMs also raised profit margins. Dell's laptop division operating margin was 6.2% in 2020. In 2024, 9.8%. They're charging more and keeping more. That margin expansion comes from buyers. Component costs increase too. DRAM prices up 47% from 2020 lows. SSD prices up 32%. Even though technology improved, manufacturers are maintaining high prices because demand supports it. Then there's the subscription components. Microsoft Office used to come pre-installed. One-time purchase bundled in the PC price. Now, it's Microsoft 365, $99.99 per year subscription. Not included. Manufacturers used to absorb some software costs. Now they pass them to buyers as subscriptions. The hardware looks cheaper than it is because ongoing software costs are hidden. Jennifer Martinez is a college student in Arizona, needs a laptop for classes. Her budget is $600. She bought a laptop in 2019 for $589. It lasted 5 years, worked great. Now she's shopping for a replacement, finds a Dell Inspiron for $649, slightly over budget, but manageable. She buys it, sets it up. Microsoft Office isn't installed. Trial version that expires in 30 days. Her professors require Word and PowerPoint. She needs Office. Microsoft 365 Personal, $69.99 per year. Or Microsoft 365 Family, $99.99 per year. She chooses Personal, so her $649 laptop actually costs $649 plus $70 year 1 plus $70 year 2 plus $70 year 3. That's $859 over 3 years, 32% more than the sticker price suggested. She's angry, feels tricked. The $649 price wasn't real. The real price was hidden in subscriptions she didn't know about. This is happening to millions of users. The advertised PC price is divorced from the true cost of ownership, and users don't realize until after purchase. The cloud trap. Microsoft is building. Enter Project Cirrus. Microsoft's strategy to exploit rising PC costs. The pitch? Windows 365 Cloud PC, a thin client device for $349. Connects to a cloud-hosted Windows instance. All your applications run in the cloud. Storage in the cloud. Everything in the cloud. Monthly cost: $12.99 for 2 GB RAM, 64 GB storage cloud instance, or $22.99 for 4 GB RAM, 128 GB storage, or $39.99 for 8 GB RAM, 256 GB storage. Microsoft is positioning this as affordable computing. Pay less upfront. Small monthly fee. Access Windows from anywhere. Early adopters are biting. Small businesses see the appeal. No expensive hardware, no IT maintenance, just thin clients and cloud subscriptions. Thomas Bradley owns a small accounting firm, 8 employees. He needs computers for everyone. Traditional Windows PC would cost $9,000 to $10,000 for 8 machines. Microsoft sales rep pitches Windows 365 Cloud PC. 8 thin client devices for $2,792, plus $183.92 monthly for 8 cloud instances at $22.99 each. Thomas does basic math. $2,792 upfront versus $9,000. He saves $6,208. Seems like a great deal. He signs up. First year total cost, $2,792 plus $183.92 times 12 equals $4,999.04. Still less than $9,000. He's happy. Second year, $183.92 times 12 equals $2,207.04. Third year, $2,207.04. Fourth year, $2,207.04. Fifth year, $2,207.04. By year 5, Thomas has paid $13,627.20, more than the $9,000 for traditional PCs, and he still doesn't own the computers. He's renting computing power forever. Plus, he's dependent on internet connectivity. When his internet goes down, his entire business stops. 8 employees can't work. With traditional PCs, internet outages are annoying, but not paralyzing. With cloud instances, internet outages shut down the business. Thomas is starting to realize the deal wasn't as good as it seemed, but he's locked in. Migrating back to traditional PCs means buying 8 new computers, plus dealing with data migration. The switching costs are high enough that he's trapped. The ownership erosion nobody discusses. But the real issue isn't cost, it's ownership. Traditional PC, you buy it, you own it. Your files are local, your applications are local, you control everything. If Microsoft disappears tomorrow, your computer still works. Cloud PC, you rent it, Microsoft owns it. Your files are on Microsoft servers. Your applications run on Microsoft servers. You control nothing. If Microsoft disappears tomorrow, you have nothing. This distinction matters enormously. Rachel Morrison is a freelance graphic designer. She works with confidential client files, brand guidelines, unreleased product designs, marketing materials. Her clients include major corporations with strict confidentiality requirements. She's considering switching to Windows 365 Cloud PC. The $349 upfront cost is appealing. Her current laptop is aging. Replacing it would cost $1,100. But then she reads the Windows 365 terms of service. Microsoft stores all data on their servers. Microsoft personnel may access data for service improvement and security purposes. Data is subject to law enforcement requests under U.S. jurisdiction jurisdiction. Her clients require that their confidential files never leave her possession. Cloud storage violates those contracts. She can't use Windows 365 without breaching client agreements. She's stuck buying a traditional PC. The cloud option isn't actually an option for her workflow. This limitation affects millions of professionals: lawyers handling privileged communications, doctors handling patient records, financial advisors handling client data. Anyone with confidentiality obligations can't use cloud computing without violating those obligations. Microsoft's response: enterprise versions with stronger compliance. But those cost $31.99 to $71.99 per month, more than triple the consumer price. Suddenly, the affordability advantage disappears. The internet dependency, creating disasters. Then there's the internet dependency.
Cloud computing requires constant connectivity. Lose internet, lose access to everything. Your files, your applications, your work.
For urban users with reliable fiber internet, that's manageable. Outages are rare and short. For rural users, it's a nightmare. David Chen lives in rural Montana, runs a small ranch, needs a computer for record keeping, tracking livestock, managing finances, ordering supplies. Internet options are limited. DSM through phone lines. 15 megabits per second download, 1 megabit per second upload. It works, but it's slow, and it goes down frequently. Wind, snow, animals chewing cables. He loses internet 4 to 6 times per month, usually restored within 24 to 48 hours. With a traditional PC, internet outages are annoying. Can't browse web, can't check email, but he can still access his files, update his spreadsheets, work offline. With Windows 365 Cloud PC, internet outages shut down everything. Can't access files, can't run applications. The computer becomes useless until internet returns. He calculates internet downtime. Average 6 outages per year. Average 36 hours per outage. That's 216 hours annually without computing access. 9 full days per year. He can't afford 9 days annually with no computer access. He needs a traditional PC. Cloud computing isn't viable in rural areas with unreliable internet. This is true for millions of rural Americans. 24% of rural residents lack reliable broadband, according to FCC data. Cloud computing requires reliable broadband. Microsoft's cloud strategy excludes a quarter of rural America. But Microsoft isn't targeting rural America. They're targeting urban areas with good internet. The strategy increases digital inequality, widens the gap between well-connected urban areas and underconnected rural areas. The surveillance capabilities users miss. Here's what makes cloud computing especially concerning. Surveillance. Traditional PC. Microsoft sees some telemetry, what OS features you use, crash reports, aggregate usage data, but they don't see your actual files, don't see your documents, don't see your communications. That's all local. Cloud PC. Everything runs on Microsoft servers. Your files, your emails, your documents, your browsing. Microsoft can see all of it. The terms of service grant them that right. Section 12B of Windows 365. Terms. Microsoft may access, disclose, and preserve your data when we have a good faith belief that doing so is necessary to comply with applicable law or respond to valid legal process. Good faith belief is subjective. Microsoft decides what that means. Could be a warrant, could be a subpoena, could be an informal law enforcement request. Users don't know, don't get notified, don't have recusal rights. Sarah Kim is a journalist, investigative reporter, works on sensitive stories, government corruption, corporate malfeasance, whistleblower protection. She handles confidential source communications, documents provided under anonymity agreements. June 2025. Microsoft is all in on cloud computing. They've invested $3.2 billion in Project Cirrus infrastructure, built data centers, developed thin client hardware, signed partnerships with original equipment manufacturers. They're betting the future on users accepting permanent subscriptions, accepting loss of ownership, accepting cloud dependency. They might be wrong. Early adoption numbers are concerning. Microsoft projected 2.4 million Windows 365 Cloud PC users by June 2025. Actual number, 840,000. They're 65% below target. Why? Users are doing the math, reading the terms of service, realizing the limitations, choosing traditional PCs or alternative platforms instead. Microsoft's response? Double down on marketing. Spend more convincing users that cloud is better. Offer promotional pricing, free trials, bundled deals. But marketing can't change fundamental math. Cloud PCs cost more long-term. Remove ownership, create dependencies. No amount of marketing changes those facts. The question is, how long until users collectively realize they're being manipulated? How long until the backlash builds? How long until Microsoft's cloud strategy collapses under the weight of user rejection? Bill Gates thinks it happens within 3 years, that by 2028, Project Cirrus will be recognized as a strategic failure, that Microsoft will be forced to retreat from cloud-only computing. Microsoft's executive team thinks users will adapt, that within 3 years, cloud computing will be normal, that users will accept subscriptions as the standard model. One of them is right. The other is catastrophically wrong. And billions of dollars in shareholder value depend on which. If this opened your eyes to what Microsoft's cloud strategy really costs, share it. Because Microsoft's marketing emphasizes the low $349 upfront price. They don't mention you'll pay $156 to $480 annually forever. Don't mention you'll eventually pay more than a traditional PC cost. Don't mention you lose ownership of your files and applications. They want you to see the cheap upfront price, not the expensive long-term reality. That's the manipulation, that's the trap. And that's why Bill Gates is trying to stop it before it destroys Microsoft's reputation permanently. Subscribe for what happens when users figure out they're paying more for less. Because that realization is coming. And when it hits, the backlash against Microsoft could be historic.